Good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday, which means you know what time it is. We're going to get it started. It's me, Dr. Ivie Apia. Welcome to my show. How are you guys feeling? I missed you guys, even though I come on every Saturday, but today we have a huge topic. So I'm just going to let a few people come on in and we're going to get it popping. We're going to get it started. How are you all doing? Okay, before I dive right into it, I'm just going to do a sound check. Perfect. And visual check. Okay, perfect. Okay. Happy Saturday, everyone. How are you feeling? Let me tell you. Today we're not playing. There's no jokes over here. And this is going to take as long as it takes. I'm telling you, I'm so passionate about this topic. We're talking about Simone Biles. So, and first things first, let me just get some housekeeping out of the way. You can tell it's going to be big because I took a couple notes. On your way in, definitely like this video, share, and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, you really should be. Again, my name is Dr. Ivie Apia, and we are talking all things health and wellness on this channel. And the benefit of this channel is, I break things down, major health topics and, news or pop culture in a way that I think is accessible and relatable. But in particular, for everyone, it's really for everyone, with particular emphasis on people of color, women. There are certain nuances that we get. Plus, I'm also going to share with you some of the science behind it. And because you guys are really smart and sophisticated, group of people, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. In the past, we looked at charts and graphs and literally analyzed data and studies together. So that's the benefit of being on this channel. Is we talk all things health and wellness in a relatable way, and this is our community and we're all growing together. So if you haven't already, absolutely, subscribe and join this amazing community. The other thing I want to share with you is that, again, this platform is growing. So I really need your help to help, increase my numbers and increase the amount of people who are watching and what they're watching. So definitely share with a friend if this resonates with you. And let me tell you, with today's topic, we can all relate to Simone Biles. You do not have to be an Olympian. You don't have to be the most smart, most beautiful, most whatever. But I think there's a story for each of us that we can take a piece and improve. So I'm going to give you my perspective. A little bit about me. I'm an internist, meaning I'm a physician that deals with adults, so people ages 18 and over. And then I also went on and did, beyond my internal medicine training, I went and did fellowship training in kidney disease. So things relating to dialysis or kidney disease, I'm definitely, this is what I study. And then I also do additional clinical research as it relates to women and kidney health. So I'll talk about that probably later on down the road because I have a few projects going on. But that's a little bit about me. So if you're interested, definitely share with other people, including those who may be interested in a medical career. Absolutely, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for anyone who wants to call in. And definitely comment. This, oh my gosh, this is the show to comment on and call in, okay? 100%. I'm so passionate about this Simone Biles scenario because it demonstrates three or four key lessons I'm going to talk about in detail today. So this live is going to take however long it's going to take, okay? So with that being said, grab some water, you grab your coffee, grab, whatever you need to, some popcorn. If you're out for a walk, you're going to enjoy this. So let's buckle up for the ride. Okay. So first things first, first lesson, I'll just jump right off. The first lesson that I learned about the Simone Biles thing, right, is that health is more than absence of disease. If you've been on this channel before, you've heard me say this multiple times. I've talked about this on our Ultimate Health Plan series and our two-part Reclaiming Mind Body Health series. So what do I mean by this? I'm gonna get into it right now. Literally right now. Let me share a screen because I also have a couple of, just a small PowerPoint. And I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about. Good, you can see that. Simone Biles, she's a star. She is absolutely a star. Oh my gosh, she inspires me. First things first. Remember we talked about this. Health is more than just your physical health. Health is not just the absence of disease. It is a multi-layered state, condition, state of being, right? And I've made this analogy time and time again. Peace is not the absence of war, right? In the sense that just because America is not necessarily at war with other countries does not mean we don't have some internal issues and that we're at peace. Much like this, health is more than just the absence of COVID or curing COVID, right? There are other diseases, number one. And number two, it's more than just disease. It's more than just your weight. You are more than just your weight. You're more than just your diabetes. Health is also mind, body, spirit. And I'm literally using this same slide from last time to talk about mind, body, spirit, and that they're all connected. I'm not going to get into detail about this, but just know that any stressors that you have, they're going to manifest on the body, number one. Sometimes it's just this unexplained nausea, unexplained headaches, joint aches and pains. It's going to manifest on the body, but also what are you doing to renew, rejuvenate, and replenish yourself? For Simone Biles, she clearly has this down packed. Her physical health is on point. I mean, who has better health than an Olympian, right? We're talking about physical health, but it's more than that. She is talking about why she had to withdraw from the Olympics, citing mental health reasons. So that's relating to her mind, her emotions and thoughts. And let me tell you, I bet you required a lot of spirit, sense of self, sense of purpose to make that decision. And today we're going to go deep into how I feel she came to that conclusion. Okay, remember, this is different from religion. It's not about if she's Christian, if she's Muslim, if she's any of these, I don't know, over 3,000 religions on the planet. She knew what works for her and made a choice accordingly. I showed this slide in the past as well. This is the JET slide, meaning, JETS being an acronym for how to help get your mind, body, spirit connection in alignment through journaling, exercise, therapy, and having a daily spiritual practice. And I bet you Simone has aspects of all of these, not just her exercise for her physical health, but to clear her mind. I would not be surprised if she has her own spiritual practice as well, right? So I'm just going to pause there. Okay, and just talk to you for a moment, right? And definitely comment in the chat. I want to hear from you. I want you to call in because we're going to go deep, right? So for this Olympian athlete with probably pristine, one of the best physical conditions on the planet, she has trained her muscles. She's learning how to do these flips. She's the beam queen. She is citing health challenges. So what does that mean for all of us, right? Being skinny is not enough. I know a lot of skinny people who are ill. And I'm not just talking about diseases or, having like an eating disorder or something like that. I am talking about sometimes your life could also not be in alignment despite having that look. You could be the most beautiful, most glamorous, most pretty, but if your mind and body and spirit are not in alignment, there is an issue. I'm telling you, I've seen this time and time again. I have seen this over and over and over again. So that's the first thing. Remember and recognize that there's a Simone Biles in each one of us, that despite having the most beautiful or pristine body, there are other challenges that can make you unhealthy. Okay, and she herself is citing her mental health issues. Okay. The second thing I want to say is that, she clearly has made a difficult decision to withdraw. And, people are labeling her as a quitter. Is she weak? Does she not have the temperament to be a true Olympian? And I have a lot of, I have an answer to that. But what do you guys think? I want you to comment in the chat and or call. Okay, the second thing I want to mention is that, you know what? Our decisions and our life can have health consequences, intended or unintended. I'm going to repeat that. The choices we make in life can have consequences on us, can have consequences on our bodies, our mental health, our spiritual health. We're going for one thing, right? Simone Biles is going for the gold, and she's one of the most decorated athletes in history. She's going for yet another gold, another title, right? But there are sometimes unintended, unforeseen consequences, and all of these decisions have impacts on our health. And again, I have seen this time and time again in clinic. So many times, I see, let's say, the mom of a disabled child who spent and dedicated her life to her disabled child, and then not realizing that she has issues herself, coming in 2 years maybe later than when we could have had an opportunity to intervene. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not easy, guys, what we're talking about. I want to just make the point. Life has consequences, and those consequences can impact our health. I'll give you another example. I know for myself and other people who are pursuing dreams, I know for myself, I wanted to be a doctor from a very young age, as a little girl, and it was re-solidified to me multiple times throughout my life. But when I finally got to med school, and it was a big feat, there were times that I chose the title, the degree, the work over myself. Many times. I know you guys can relate. Many of you on this channel are very sophisticated people, accomplished dreamers. And I'm not talking about, people earning 6 figures. I'm talking about anyone who has a dream, or anyone who has a purpose, or anyone who has a vision, which is everyone on this channel and everyone on this community, right? There are times that we make decisions for a larger vision or a larger goal at the expense of ourselves. Of course, every goal requires sacrifice. But my question to you is, are you sacrificing yourself? Are you sacrificing yourself? These are the questions we need to really ask. How much is enough? What are our limitations? What are our limits? For example, I'll just give you a silly example, but serious. Young people, when they go to college, that's a time when they're honestly learning. They're experimenting, of course. Part of that experimentation is alcohol. And at some point, I know where I went to college in the South, sometimes it was really a rite of passage to say, oh, I got my stomach pumped last weekend from alcohol, right? What am I talking about? Sometimes we have to go through things to figure out, okay, what are our limits? How much really should I drink? Is it 2 drinks? Can I really handle 3? Under what conditions do I drink alcohol? For me, I drink from time to time, but I generally like to drink around people whom I really know and trust because, you're being impaired, literally. It's alcohol is a depressant. So these are things that we learn, coming of age, but can we apply that to other areas of our life? What are the consequences of our decisions? And also, how are we understanding our own boundaries? We learn this over time through the choices we make. Um, I'll just say that. So our decisions are influenced also by our experiences and our upbringing. You guys have heard of the conflict of nature versus nurture, right? So the essence of who we are is partially biologic or genetic. It's just how we were born, and it is what it is. Part of that is literally embedded in the DNA. The essence of who we are, our personality, in the DNA, we're born with it. And then some aspects and the magic of who we are, and the essence of who we are, is influenced by our experiences, by our environment, right? So it's a nature versus nurture. And I think in this scenario for Simone Biles, we have to keep in mind that she's making a decision for herself. We're making decisions for ourselves, but it's a multifaceted thing. It's not just Simone Biles at the age of 0 and who she is, but it's also the Simone Biles at the age of 2, Simone Biles at the age of 5 with a complicated family history, Simone Biles at the age of 6, who this is the first time she's actually taking on gymnastics. I think it was actually as a day trip. Simone Biles at the age of 10, 12, 14, 16, putting in years of work. And I'll get into her history too. And at some point, I think when she was a teenager, she made the decision to pursue homeschooling so that she could put in more hours per week training to be that Olympian athlete. She made her goal. So so what I'm saying here also is not just that we're the product of our experiences, but also we are making choices each and every day. Oh, the live chat is disabled. Let me just pause for a second. Oh. Just a second, guys. I just got a message. I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, this is not the one. This is not the time. I want you guys to be able to comment or call in. You know what? At least call in. Today we may just have to call in if you want to comment. I was wondering why I wasn't seeing as many comments today. You guys, it's a live show and I'm learning and I'm growing. Just bear with me, okay? Go ahead. Oh my God, I have incredible friends, you guys. Okay. So Prince, okay, go edit the video, scroll down. Where do I edit edit? Oh, scroll down and allow chat replay. Okay, just one moment, guys. This is a live show and I'm working, guys. Okay, Brian, thank you. Don't worry, I'll be right there. Okay, YouTube Studio video. Okay, you know what? I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm not exactly seeing enable push notifications. Okay. Okay. Okay, where does it say edit? Just bear with me, guys. Uh-huh. So it says um, edit video, and then okay, let's see. Scroll down and allow chat replay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just a second. Oh, this is still going to be a good show. I'm telling you. Okay, hold on. Okay, YouTube. Uh, okay, okay. Either way, I want someone to call in, Princess. If you're available, please feel free to call in, and I want to hear your thoughts while I'm also working this out. Sorry, this is not easy for me. Okay, or anybody else, you guys. Okay, let's see. Okay, so sorry, I'm in my studio. I don't actually see where it says. Yeah, it says allow all comments. Okay, sorry guys, I'm getting used to the YouTube features and everything. So I actually don't see it. I just basically allow for all comments. Uh, these two boxes, allow all comments and sort by top, sort by newest. I did that. Show how many viewers like them and dislike the stream. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's see. I'm not sure if that fixed it. Okay, I'm not sure if that fixed it, but either way, can you see the actual chat? Okay, good. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Oh, go to customization. Okay, guys, just bear with me. Uh-huh. Customization. Says live chat is on, live chat replays on. Anyone? Okay. Okay, can you comment now? It was already clicked. Yeah. So I can see that. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you guys for just thank you. Oh my gosh. Ooh, man, I need a break. I'm choosing me. I'm choosing me. Okay, thank you, princess. Thank you, princess. Okay, let me get right back into it. What did we talk about? Two things. Number one, that health is more than just your physical, it's mental, emotional, spiritual. Okay, so that's just a recap for those of you who are just joining in or needed a break. We're talking about Simone Biles. Health is beyond just the physical. The second thing is that discussions are influenced by our experiences. Okay, so absolutely, Simone Biles is a product of her own experiences. Please let me know what you're thinking, and comment in the chat or leave a message, leave a comment. Okay. Okay. So Simone Biles has made multiple choices throughout her life, whether or not she realizes it, and that's the same thing with us. Um, And the question is, how do we make our decisions? How did she come to this conclusion? What is your goal? For me, at the time, right, I wanted to get into med school. I wanted to finish med school. So there were times that I've had to go back to, what am I doing? Like, what am I trying to accomplish? There are times that I just want to quit or just go to sleep. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been awake for, I don't know, 36 hours. And all I want to do is sleep and eat. Right? The question is, what is our goal? If the goal is to get to med school, I have sacrificed myself and it hurts. It hurts. And that's why burnout is so common amongst so many industries. So many industries, right? Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is how do we make decisions? We have to weigh the pros and cons. We have to go back to the, good old fashioned, what are the positives? What are the negatives? For Simone Biles, what are the positives of going for the gold? She has celebrity, she has status, she has self-satisfaction. Of course, she's strong. For others of you guys, you might be chasing your med school dream or dream of being a wife, dream of being a mother. Are we chasing titles, papers, money, flash, celebrity, influence, followers? The question is, it's not just what is our goal and how do we get there, but who are we and what is our value? What do we bring to the table? It's funny because I literally talked about this yesterday with one of my mentees. I won't say his name, but he's just an amazing, basically biology major in Texas. And you know who you are if you're watching this. And what we were doing yesterday is we were going over his interview for medical school. So for those of you who don't know, I also mentor people to get into medical school, and I am excellent at the medical school interview. And everybody who works with me, they don't regret it, and they always land. They always land and get to where they want to go. But anyway, I remember talking to this young gentleman who I was trying to communicate, like, you are more than your CV. When I'm asking you, tell me about yourself, I'm not asking you to repeat what's already on the papers that you've already submitted. You know, your name, your date of birth, where you live, where you went to school. I kind of know that. Some of those things are formulaic. I want to know about you. Who are you? What makes you tick? What are your principles? What are your values? Don't tell me you want to just go to med school because you're smart. There are 10,000, hundreds, millions of smart people on this planet. But who are you and what is your point of view? What about you makes you suited to do a career in medicine? Do you understand what I'm saying? You are more than just like your CV. It's weaving to. It helps me understand why you make the decisions that you did that I see in the CV. What makes you tick, and that's also part of the personal statement. That's a little side note. But what I'm talking about is sometimes we're chasing items, degrees, money, flash, rather than a larger mission or vision. Does what I'm saying make sense? Oh, just one moment. Oh, thank you. Who is feeling me? Who is feeling what I'm saying? Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you. I'm becoming more and more comfortable with you all. Seriously. Princess, shout out to you. Thank you for the technical leadership and friendship. But anyway, House of Princess says, yes, we often lose ourselves. Thank you. Queen Riri, hello. Hello. Well, hello, Queen. Back to you, Queen Riri. Thank you so much for joining me this Saturday. So just to recap, if you're just joining in, okay? What I'm talking about is who are you? What are your principles? What are your values? And let me tell you, Simone Biles has clearly identified who she is and is not worried about what other people think. She's worried about what she thinks and what's best for her. And I'm going to break it down why I feel that she made the decision that she did. It actually makes complete sense if you look at her background, the biology also, and the facts. And sometimes in the media, we don't get that nuance. So I want to break down the nuance. This is not just an announcement that she, is leaving the Olympics. This is an analysis of what we can learn from Simone Biles and how we're making choices every single day. And I'll just tell you right now, if you don't know you're making choices, you're already in trouble. Doesn't mean forever. I can help you. This community can help you. But if you don't know that, if you're unhappy in your relationship and you don't go because you're scared to go and start over, you're making a choice. If you don't know what to do, or you're paralyzed by, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed by, this, that, you're making a choice. And the problem is sometimes we don't even know that we are even allowed to make our own choices. Hello? Do you understand what I'm saying? Thank you, Miss Lady One. Good afternoon. You look beautiful. Thank you, darling. I love your avatar. I actually am going. Random side note. I actually want to go for a different look. Tell me what you think I should do. Princess, any comments? I want to change my hairstyle, and you guys know I like to play with lengths and color sometimes. Maybe I should go for this Miss Lady One look, the avatar. Okay, yes. Oh, you're driving. Okay. Well, thanks for listening. with us, okay? Queen Riri says, right. Okay, thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm so serious, guys. I'm not even joking. We are making choices every day, and let me tell you, life is about choices, whether or not we want to admit it, okay? So here's what I'm saying. How are we making decisions and choices? We need to understand what is our larger goal, what are the positives and negatives. We know the clear positives of being Olympian, but what are the negatives? What is the true cost of going for the gold? What is the true cost of going back to school? What is the true cost if you're 37 and making a decision to freeze your eggs because you have no children? Or what if you're 37 and have 2 kids already? What is the true cost of becoming a mother again or having another child? I'm just throwing out examples, guys, because we're all faced with choices. Okay, what are the choices for Simone? The risks, the negatives, the cost for Simone Biles, right? Besides her time, I bet you there was a lot of money up front involved. And I'm talking from the time she was a teenager or, a child. I'm sure her family had to rally around to support her. If they don't, it's harder for her, right? So what are the costs? So we know that, but what are the unintended emotional consequences, physical toll, the mental cost of being the superstar athlete? It's hard. I remember when I was in college, I remember there was a football player. No, it was after college. I remember I randomly saw a former football athlete who's like now in real estate. I randomly saw him. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that you? I haven't seen you in like, I don't know, 7, 8 years. I don't want to date myself. And I remember him saying, oh my gosh, life is so much better. My body doesn't hurt as much. That just blew my mind. But it's obvious, of course, an athlete or a football player is in pain. But I remember him talking about waking up every day in pain. Of course, he had, the celebrity, he's popular, the ladies like him and all that stuff. Good looking, muscular man. But what are the unintended consequences? Now we have a more sophisticated understanding of possible CTE with these athletes who have, they're wearing helmets, but like literally every time you have a collision, which is the job of these football players, is to literally hit each other and get the ball. It's a contact sport. How much contact do you need? How much contact on the brain and on the body do you think it's required for you to change who you are? And it's not funny. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. What are the unintended consequences that we don't always, take into account? I'll just bring it back to me as an example. You guys know that in healthcare and many industries, burnout is real. I really, truly do not know one physician or anybody who's been through medical training who was happy and perky and cheery 100% of the time. I do not know one person. I do not know one person who has not talked about the sadness, the depression, the self-doubt. I'm just being honest. For as prestigious as being a physician is, or an attorney is, or that accountant, or whatever, being a mom, a parent, I don't know one person, specifically in medicine, who has not experienced a cost to themselves. I know I'm just being honest. There was a period of 4 years, I don't know what happened in my life. Truly. There's a period of 4 years I don't recall. I sound like Hillary Clinton. I don't recall. I don't recall those emails that I truly don't recall. I don't remember. I don't know what happened in the news, in pop culture, in political culture, in the world. I don't know because I was in a survival mode. And there were times that I had to sacrifice my own well-being, my mental health, to study, focus, because listen, that's just how it is. That's how it goes. Even in residency or fellowship training, pretty much everybody is, not sleeping well, but you have to perform. You have to give the patients what they require. You have to be sharp, focused, alert. You cannot make mistakes. The stakes are so high. You cannot make mistakes because this is about patients, their families. You cannot make mistakes no matter how you yourself are. If you're sleep deprived, having issues at home, if you yourself are ill, there are times I have to choose between, I need a doctor, I need to see a doctor myself. I have to see my own patients, forgetting that I need to be a patient sometimes. Is anyone feeling what I'm saying? This is extremely important. How many of you are caregivers but need a caregiver yourself? How many of you are parents but need your own parents to support you? Seriously. This is common in the age group of like 35 to about 55, men and women, where they have children and need to pour into their children, but also need to pour into their parents because they're getting elderly and may need additional support, love, care, attention, finances, time. We're always in this conundrum of having to choose between other people or ideas, goals, and ourselves. Very stressful. It's very challenging. But I just want to flesh this out in detail, right, guys? The point being is that every day we're making choices. So if you're just joining in, we're talking about Simone Biles and the layered decision to withdraw from the Olympics and why this is relevant to you and your health. We talked about the fact that health is more than just your physical body. It is emotional, spiritual, and emotional. Simone Biles is telling us she has health issues and she's an Olympian athlete. That's one. Two, we're talking about how all decisions have consequences on your health. Positive and negative, okay? And for Simone Biles, the consequences and the risks are not just emotional. They're also real. Let me just get back into my PowerPoint here. Let me just share this with you guys. Before I do that, I want to just say hello and shout out the people who are joining this live. Hey, Neve's Diary. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hi, Dr. Ivie. Hello. Welcome to the channel. The Queen of Cheesecake. I like that. What's your favorite cheesecake? Hi, I'm new to your channel. Well, welcome to my channel, to my platform. Definitely subscribe if you haven't and watch every Saturday. This Simone Biles has just completely inspired me. She has inspired me. And I'm so passionate about what I'm saying. Queen of Cheesecake, I hope you like what you're seeing. Definitely keep listening and tune in every Saturday. Queen Riri, Hello says, I used to forget about my own well-being and help others. I was a U.S. Navy nurse. Thank you for your service, number one, in the Army, and thank you for your service in healthcare. Oh my gosh, I love nurses. I love nurses. They save us. By the way, fun fact about me, I was not a nurse. I was a nursing assistant. Not a nurse, nursing assistant. I assisted the nurse. So I was taught by incredible nurses. Sorry, side note. But I'm just saying, no matter where you are, you can continue to rise. No matter what your scenario is, use that as as a foundational experience. No knowledge is wasted. And I learned a lot as a nursing assistant about true bedside manner. Pineapple. Oh my gosh, I like that. That's cool. Okay, let me share my screen. This is a complicated discussion, guys. I hope you're following what I'm saying. This is really the larger point too, that our decisions are influenced by our experiences. How are you making decisions? And the question is, what is our target? What is our goal? Could it be getting into med school, getting out of med school, meaning completing? Is it becoming the attorney, learning Arabic? What are the positives? What are the benefits? And what are the costs to you? Okay? There are real costs. I'm just going to say this right here, right now. There are real costs. Whoops, you see I included this by accident. But there are real costs. I just wanted to share with you all that gymnastics and some of these other sports, there are costs to your body. There are risks of injury. I will say injuries commonly occur in the world of gymnastics. Ankle sprains, knee injuries are very common lower extremity injuries. When I started doing my research and I went on Simone Biles' Instagram learning more about the scenario of what's going on, I'm like, okay, really, what are the costs? Is she just giving up, letting her teammates down, or are there real risks? There are real risks in gymnastics. I think we kind of all intuitively know athletes could get injured, but specifically in gymnastics, this has actually been studied. There's medical data, there's science to support what is going on. So this is actually an research article that was published by Competitive Sports Journal, spearheaded by a physician assistant Hart and Dr. Meehan, amongst other physicians as well, studying what are the common injuries in gymnastics. So I just included this abstract so you could at least see and follow along. But the two major things I wanted to say are common lower extremity injuries include ankle sprains, knee injuries. I've also seen what was described as, cervical spine injuries as well. If you're tossing your body in the air and you land wrong, you fall wrong, yeah, there could be serious neurologic issues, musculoskeletal damage. And for gymnastics, the most common skills causing injury include front and back handsprings as well as flips. So this is a study that really identified the injury rates. You can see this, it may be difficult to see, but injury rates in gymnastics. So per 1,000 hours of exposure or involvement in gymnastic activity, the incidence is about 1 to 50, depending on age, level of experience, and level of competition. In young gymnasts, common injuries include spondylosis, which involves your spine, ankle injuries. Of course, gymnasts can have wrist injuries, grip lock, patellofemoral syndrome, that's a unique type of knee pain. ankle sprains. And so the point of this research article was to identify what are the risks, what is the incidence of injuries in gymnastics. And they were able to help quantify that. Okay, so at baseline, any gymnast has these risks. And Simone Biles was doing this each and every single day for clearly decades. She started this at age 6, and she's now 24. So that's 18. So that's almost 2 decades of experience. That's a lot of time. So she's been exposing herself to these common injuries, pardon that. She's been exposing herself to these injuries at baseline, and despite that, has been a very decorated Olympian. But then I dug a little bit deeper, and I saw that she mentioned this word called twisties. I said, what is that? Have you guys heard of the word twisties? Please comment in the chat if you've heard of this term, twisties. This is just an example of what she's describing. It's a phenomenon where people can have challenges identifying where their body is in the air. And there's a medical term that describes this. It's called proprioception. Sometimes when people have neurologic issues, you don't know like spatially where you are, like where your body is in, like on the ground, basically. Where's your body positioned? And that can be complicated in what she does. So not knowing where you are in the air can be very dangerous. Again, if you land wrong, thinking you're somewhere and you're not, if you land wrong, you can have more than just these injuries I talked about in this research article. It's extremely serious. Some people likened it to having, vertigo or room spinning like sensations. That may be part of it, but it has to do with the physiology of the inner ear. You guys may have experienced vertigo yourself. If you spin around, you have that room spinning sensation and it goes away within seconds, right? But there are some people who literally, the room feels like it's spinning. And that can make them feel lightheaded. It can cause headaches. It literally can be so debilitating for people if you've experienced it. It is serious. So there's something about the inner ear that helps position where people's body feels like it is. Like, where is your body located? Helps you to walk and navigate, your life, of course. So if this is off, if you're having a case of what the gymnasts call the twisties, this could be very serious. Now, let me just see what you guys are saying. Oh, let me take that off. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay. So mental health is more important than a gold medal. I like what you're thinking. And that's your choice, and that's the point. It's your choice. This is for you. For some people, a gold medal may be more important than their mental health. For example, if Michael Jordan prioritized his mental health, do you think the Bulls would be as successful? I'm just posing a question. I want to hear from you. Do you think if Michael Jordan prioritized his mental health every single day, do you think he would be as successful? Or do you think that his mental health is the reason he became an Olympian? His mental fortitude, his strength. I know, like I've met a lot of people who are, of course, highly talented or in whatever industry. And one thing I've seen amongst athletes, they sleep a lot. Some athletes can sleep a lot because they need that recovery period. So I've talked about this on my channel over and over and over. For every time you need to do something for someone else, you need to do it twice for yourself. That's how I feel. I'm just exaggerating the point. For every time you need to do an extreme workout, you need rest to recover. There's a planting and harvesting, seed and harvest time, and there are cycles of this, and it's very layered, right, guys? I hope you're feeling what I'm saying. So for Queen Cheesecake, she's saying mental health is more important than a gold medal, and maybe it depends on the time. If this is your first gold medal, maybe you're going to sacrifice your mental health. Simone Biles has multiple gold medals. So she doesn't have the same value and same worth. Who knows? If this is your 10th, maybe not. However, guys, I want to show you one thing. Okay, you know what? Let me go back to let me go back to this slide, right? This slide. How many of you guys saw when she did one of the vault routines and actually got off balance, which was very uncharacteristic? I was watching this, I think the CNBC or maybe NBC review of her. She landed and then stepped off. And later on described on social media that she had a case of the twisties. So is she really letting her teammates down, or is she understanding the risks of possibly messing up the score? Ooh, Princess is here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does she understand the risks that she's actually could put her team in jeopardy? Not just herself, but her team, the score, in jeopardy. Not just her health, but the score. So we have to keep that in mind. Okay, you know what? I'm going to bring on, okay, let me remove this. I'm going to bring on my beautiful friend, Miss Princess. Hello.
Good morning, afternoon, good afternoon.
Hi, Princess.
See, I got dressed and everything.
You don't have to get dressed for me. You look amazing, though.
Thank you.
How are you?
This is interesting. It's an interesting topic. It's interesting way to think. I think everybody, if you take the time to pay attention, I think we all can identify with this in our lives in some form or fashion. I feel like, as far as Simone goes, what we don't realize, I'm a mother of athletes. I've been an athlete in my life in different forms and fashion.
Yeah.
The pressure is really, really high to perform, and at the expense of the people. And when you're done, they're done with you, then nobody else cares about you. You're no longer an asset. And I think that now, with people okaying and recognizing that mental health is important, that the athletes feel less pressure to perform as they used to. Whereas it didn't matter. Her being a gymnast, what was she, a gold medalist at 16 or something like that? So she's been working her whole entire life, when a lot of us don't even start working till 13, 14, 15, or 16. But she's dedicated her life and her childhood to perfection and performing. And you lose something from that. You may love doing what you do, but there are experiences that she doesn't get to experience because she's working, and she's not working just for her or for her family. When you go to the Olympics, you're performing for the whole United States.
The whole world.
You're in front of the world.
World.
You know, that's a lot of pressure if you think about it. It's like, if I lose, I don't just lose and then I go home and have some cookies and cake. No, it's money on the line. There's a lot of things that are on the line that are mentally stressful. Hey, and we don't have any compassion for them as human beings, that she's a human being and she has feelings. And yes, doing all that gymnastics and stuff is very stressful on the body.
Yes.
I was teaching, I just told somebody yesterday, I was teaching some years ago a dance class, and I was trying to teach them a lift. And the rule in cheerleading, gymnastics, dance, anything is you do not let the flyer drop. You don't let anybody hit the floor. So, and the girl fell and didn't do what I asked her to do, and then she couldn't perform and she fell. So it's my job to not let her fall. So guess what? Who took the sacrifice? I did. And at the end of the day, she fell on my knee, and I still have an injury to this day from having a bruised meniscus. These things are not easy to do. You can change your whole life within an instant.
Yes.
And that's it. They're done with you. So when, God forbid, Simone Biles, if she had performed and wasn't mentally focused and wasn't there, and she missed a step and she broke her leg or broke the femur or something like that, and can no longer perform anymore, are we going to be there to sit with her at home, to nurse her back to health? Are you going to continually worry about her mental health and send her flowers? Because with that comes depression.
Yes.
Who am I? I was this. I was that. But now we've made a definition, and I said, this is who I am. Now, where do I go from here? And in a few years, she's going to be older and not being able to do that and age out of stuff. And where do you go from here? And it's important that now she can start to see who she is. I'm glad she stopped and went to college and did regular people stuff. And she was able to get that experience as a young girl and being a regular person. That's so important. Normalcy is very important.
I was shocked that she's somehow able to maintain a relationship. I was like, wow. Wow. See, I mean, for me, I just, sometimes I just couldn't do it. Like, seriously, in my med school, in med school in general, there's this huge board exam that you have to pass. For people who know, it's called step 1, right? Literally, there were people in my med school class that would break up before the step 1 exam, time to study, and then, plan to just reassess the situation after the test. And it's not personal. Everybody knows what it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You have to take time out for yourself.
Yeah, and everyone knows what it is. So, yeah, Princess, I'm absolutely feeling what you're saying, and you actually have, that experience. But what I'm trying to convey here is that, these labels of her quitting, we have to just be careful of the language we're using and attributing to her specifically.
I've heard crybaby. That's terrible.
Is she soft?
It's insensitive.
And obviously we're having a more sophisticated understanding of health, mental health. I'll talk about this in a little bit too, but also, seeing athletes as actual human beings who make mistakes or who have feelings as well. And then also, have you noticed that in the media, there's been more understanding of the story behind Black female athletes, right? We're seeing Serena is coming out talking about, I think, the ground, like the tennis court and how the ground can be hard and, prone to injury. And it might be more dramatic for women athletes, female athletes compared to men. So not just Serena, obviously Serena. We talked about, is it Sha'Carri Richardson?
Sha'Carri
Richardson. Unfortunately, she landed in that situation where she's, positive for marijuana. That, of course, this woman who quit, not
Osaka,
the tennis player,
young girl. Now the thing with Sha'Carri, I feel that her village failed her. If she wasn't strong enough to make good decisions, because that was obvious that you're going to Olympics, you're not supposed to smoke. We know this from high school, from training, whatever. That you ain't supposed to do it. But somebody had to get it to her. Somebody had to smoke with her, or smelled it. Something. The village failed her, and they failed her because obviously there was some mental instability there, decision making, probably depression, all of that. And there should have been, her handler should have been more hands-on with her to make sure that she was in the right place and that she was making the right decisions, and she would have never picked up the weed. I cannot see myself. I'm sure I can almost bet money that that's not the first time she smoked.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She just didn't up and decide, I'm going to go to Olympics. My mom died. Let me pick up some weed. That's not, I just don't see that it's happening like that. So for me, I think her handlers, her village failed her as well. There should have been checks and balances with her to make sure that she was together. And again, this is where it goes. You become a piece of marketing. You become just a money maker, and there's no human element there.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Princess, I think you're spot on. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I have more questions. A lot of what you said, I have more questions. But what do you think? I mean, do you think you would, if you had to choose your mental health or a dream of yours, which one would you pick?
I think it depends on the stage of life that you are. Like I've noticed now, things that I would have done and I have done in my younger days, I don't do them now because it's the sense of urgency and the essentialness of accomplishment at that time. Like we forget that Simone Biles also was a victim of sexual assault during early on in her career. So she didn't speak. But now that we've went through it, and now that with the Me Too movement in different stages of life, she's older and has a bigger understanding. Okay, I've got one medal, I've got two. The value of it depreciates as you grow older. Yes, you want to win, but as you win, after a while, you look like, okay, I won. I got a few dollars in the bank. Now what? I'm still not fulfilled. I'm still not internally happy. As yesterday's player said, I don't have my joy. So I don't have my joy. So where do I go from here? And I think that's a self-discovery phase as well.
Thank you so much, Princess. Oh, you are always dropping some jewels of wisdom. Thank you so much, Miss Princess.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So don't go anywhere. Just comment in the chat too.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay. Thanks, darling. I appreciate it. Bye. I just love Princess. But what she says is absolutely true. I have a couple more points, so just ride along with me. Yeah, so I'm just reading through some of your comments. Miss Drea, Simone definitely deserves a break from this mess. The media just wants to tear us down. It's we have to remember, this is an athlete who has to make a choice. That's number one. Okay, let's just say that. She's a female athlete. She's a Black female athlete who's been doing this for 18 years, nearly 2 decades. She's a Black female athlete, Olympian, who's going for yet another gold medal with a complicated history. So when we talk about how do we make decisions, right? It's not just your pros and cons list, but it's also about, like, you know, your parents, your childhood, your upbringing, and your experiences throughout your life. So I just want to take a moment, okay? To review her history. Whoops. Hopefully you can see that. Can you see that? This is I'm trying to get to the Wikipedia page for Simone Biles. Good, you can see that, right? We have to remember how old is she? 24. She's young, and she has to make adult decisions. She's an adult, but we have to remember that even 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds, even though they're adults, they're not always the most mature. And there's a biological basis for that. I've learned that the frontal cortex of the brain doesn't fully form until about the age of 24. So she really most likely has now a fully formed cortex, anyone in her age group. So that's the first thing. She was born in Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, and then grew up outside of Texas, or in a suburb of Texas. Yeah, so she was born in Columbus, Ohio, grew up in Texas, I believe outside of Houston, in a town called Spring, Texas. And in her young childhood, apparently she was in the foster system, which is a wonderful system for, for creating different types of families. But also it has its challenges and emotional turmoil. So we have to keep this in mind. This is, perhaps a Texas girl who unfortunately had challenges with her parents being able to raise her, ended up in the foster system, and was eventually adopted by her maternal grandfather and his wife. So I believe those are the people that really helped to shape a lot of who she is actually basically her grandparents, her maternal grandfather, her mom's dad, and his wife. And I believe there's some connection with Belize in that. So she has citizenship in Belize, I think because of her grandparents', ethnic heritage, right? So we have to keep this in mind. Not only is she young currently, she's been doing this since the age of 6, did not have a traditional family structure, ended up in foster care, and was adopted and loved by this wonderful family, which, are her biological one of whom is her biological grandparents, coming from a Catholic background. Remember I said this, guys, in 2012, she switched from public school to homeschool so that she could train at about 50% more hours. That's a lot. In 2012, she was about, that's 9 years ago, she was about the age of, can I do math, 15. So a 15-year-old is not only going to school, but has essentially a part-time to almost now full-time job outside of school. So we have to just keep that in mind. She started at the age of 6. In 2011, how old is she there? About 12 or so. She had started competitions, doing vault and balance beam. She moved on to do additional competitions, national competitions. Traveled the world. And then remember, she herself at some point had to make a decision between going to UCLA for college versus going to the Olympics, Rio de Janeiro. And she ultimately chose the Olympics at that time. So what am I saying? She's made choices over and over, committed, dedicating her life to gymnastics. Homeschool versus gymnastics, she chose gymnastics and, changed the configuration of school to support her larger dream. She had to defer her initial dream of going to UCLA to compete in the Olympics Rio de Janeiro. She herself was a stand-in for a gymnast who unfortunately had to withdraw because she was injured. I gave her an opportunity, but if that young lady was injured, don't you think she could also be injured too? We just have to keep this in mind, guys, that if this is a complicated decision, it's layered. It's not just about, I just don't feel like it, I'm tired. No. She has the mental fortitude. She has the stamina. She's a decorated Olympian, and we need to put some respect with the T. We need to put some respect on her name. And I sometimes wonder if we really truly do that. Because she's petite, she's small, a woman, a Black woman, I wonder if we would treat others the same way. It's just layered, guys. So I'm just going through her history to say she has gone through a lot. She has made key choices and oriented her life to this point, to become the most decorated Olympian, despite her challenges, her family challenges, and despite her own injuries that she has voiced herself. Of course, I'm not her physician. I'm not giving her specific medical advice. This is an analysis of the medical, health, and wellness consequences of her decision on our lives. How can we apply this to our lives? That is the point. Sorry. That's the point of what I'm trying to say. Miss Drea, they just suspended a Nigerian woman runner by the name of Okagbere for an unknown human growth hormone right before she was supposed to run. Ah, really? Thank you for sharing. I need to learn more about that. I wasn't aware. Yeah, it's small though. Okay, Queen Riri has to run. Thank you for joining. Simone did the right thing. There's nothing more important than good mental health. Exactly. Okay, and we'll bring on a couple more viewers shortly. I just want to make one point before I put you on, Fee Love. The other thing we can't forget, Princess brought it up, is that she actually unfortunately was part of that sex scandal, sexual abuse scandal with, Larry Nasser, the former physician to the Olympic gymnast team. And she came out herself. I would never, say something that I know, but she has talked about this, so it's common knowledge. She herself was a direct victim. She and amongst her teammates. So this is a woman who's experienced trauma. And trust me, I'm sure there were times where she's actually had to silence herself to focus on her gymnastics. Sick. Clearly, this world of gymnastics is not just about the gymnastics. There are multiple players, and it's sad. For any industry that you're in, it's not of course a lot of you work. It's not just about your work. It's also about the internal politics, right? It's about a lot of dynamics. It's not just getting to work on time and getting out on time and doing the tasks. It's not just about that. For Simone, she's dealing with she's a victim of sexual assault and having to feel like she's silent. And there was some controversy and challenges about, there were some controversies and challenges about whether or not she should speak up, about the level of support from the gymnastics team. What did they know? What didn't they know? So I want you guys to call in. And I'll drop the link one more time if anyone else wants to comment. I think the other young lady had to run. I want you guys to call in and comment and tell me what you think. I'm just saying this to say this is not just a simple case of an athlete not wanting to do it or being tired. This is a complicated, layered case based upon her upbringing, her background, and what is her goal, which is evolving. Okay. So with that, Fee Love, I hope you're ready to come on. I'm going to bring you on, okay? Okay, hi. Hi, Fee Love 74. How are you doing? Looks like you're muted. Fee Love, can you hear me? You're muted. Okay. I'm just going to let you unmute yourself and try again, okay? I would love to hear what you have to say, but you're muted, dear, okay? So let me see what else you guys are saying. Simone did right. Simone did the right thing. There's nothing more important than good mental health. It's her decision. If she was earlier in her career, maybe she would have done something different. If she had not had, I heard she was actually having two broken, I don't know, she had two broken something. I think two broken bones in her feet or something. Guys, we have to, take a lot of these things into account. Next, Miss Drea says, and they tried to disqualify U.S. relay team for the baton handoff being in the wrong spot, but the ref out the runner in the wrong spot on the track, so they had to reinstate them. I'm not sure if I fully understand. They tried to disqualify U.S. relay team for the handoff being wrong. But the ref out the runner in the wrong spot on the track. Okay. If I'm understanding this correctly, there was some sort of technicality. but they had to reinstate the person. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not just about this world of sports. It's not just about doing the reps, being strong and running, or hitting the ball or dribbling. It's more than that. And I think these athletes are showing us, at least in pop culture, I think they're showing us that, they're multifaceted. They're people too. They can be, of course, smart, dynamic. Simone Biles, for example, she apparently has this channel, I think this Facebook show that talks about her experiences and, what it's like, and all the mental, everything. I mean, it's amazing to hear what she has to say. And it's actually phenomenal. Of course, the gentleman who took a knee, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. Kaepernick, of course. They're comparing him to Muhammad Ali, that he's a modern day Muhammad Ali, right? People are always saying, just shut up and dribble, stay in your lane. But these people are, they're more than their body. They're more than their talent. And I think you and I are more than just the title or just mom, just who we're individuals too, with complicated histories and sophisticated goals, layered traumas at times, vulnerabilities, our own limitations, physical, mental, emotional limitations, and we have to respect ourselves. Part of that is understanding ourselves, which goes back to the point of self-discovery, understanding yourself. It goes back to the point of having a daily spiritual practice to renew, rejuvenate, replenish yourself, and identify really what's in your spirit. What helps us to, calm, maintain peace, wellness, joy, as was talked about on Pleza's channel last night. These things are all related. That is why this is relevant to our platform. A couple quick questions I want to just pose, and I want to hear from you. Had she been in another industry, would this have received the same type of applause? Generally, it seems like a lot of people are saying, good for you, we support you. At least the U.S. Gymnast Olympics team did that. I went on her Instagram, there was support, her friends, all that. Had she been, for example, a physician and said, you know what, today I cannot come in, I have to prioritize my mental health. What are the positives? What are the negatives? But if that same person comes in and makes a mistake, operates on the wrong arm, then there's a whole set of issues, legal and ethical issues. What about the pilot who's tired? Does the pilot just push through his or her sleep deprivation? Or do you know your limitations, or respect yourself, respect the industry, respect your, the passengers on that potential flight to say, I will not be able to do that. I'm just, again, throwing out different scenarios because it applies to, it can really apply to all of us. My point is that we need to incorporate self-care. In fact, it's not incorporate self-care. Self-care needs to be a daily practice. It's not a one-time, I got my nails done. No, self-care is an attitude, mindset, choice. And guys, the reason I'm so passionate about this, you guys who have been following me for several months, I'm going on a different vibe. Sorry, where I'm going on a different vibe today. Sorry. Because it's like hitting me in my spirit in so many different ways. As a human being, as a dreamer, as a black woman, black person, I relate to the story. As a new wife, I'm almost 2 years in August. You know, this applies to me. This applies to all of us. Of course, as a physician, of course. And then this is timely. We're in a pandemic. The world is different. The configuration is different. How we access and relate to people is just different. Who is your support system? Do you understand what I mean? Who is your support system? We have to be honest and have real conversations within this community. Because my point, I'm just gonna, close out with this really. My point is that had Simone Biles went out and done her beam challenge or done the vault competition or the additional competitions, I'm scared that she may have harmed herself seriously, physically. I'm scared that she may have, jeopardized her team's standing in the Olympics. If you're chasing the gold so much so that you disqualify your team or your score is so low it brings the whole team down. Maybe she's choosing herself and choosing her team. People are saying, oh, she let her team down. Is she saving the team? Did she save the team? I'm just bringing up these questions, right? Had she been an attorney, yet with another deadline, working 80-hour weeks for several months with yet another deadline, and you're the boss of that attorney, are you going to be sympathetic to the attorney who says, not today? We would, we might question them. And sometimes I feel like a work product. There are times in my life that I just feel like a work product. Complete this task, do this, fill this out. Just no. Many of you guys can relate. It shouldn't just be about the task, but the whole person and having a well-rounded life. Ms. Drea said, and ironically, the Team USA won the race that they were disqualified from, you see. Thank you for bringing that up. Fee Love, I'm sorry, the connection's acting up. That's okay. That's okay. You can try again, or continue to participate. The female body is altogether different at 24 years old than 14 years old. Absolutely. And the thinking and the mindset and the brain development, you just can't twist, bend, and contort the body the way a child can. Absolutely. So that same flip may have a different, maybe different 10 years down the line. Yes, absolutely. House of Princess, I think often they do. Okay, LSD. Oh, LSW, thank you for joining my channel today. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I've been wanting to see you on here, so thanks for joining. Congratulations, newlywed. I appreciate it. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. And throughout all these different phases, just help me, pray for me. Oh, thank you. Congratulations, from the House of Princess. I appreciate it. So Miss Drea says, once my mom and daddy tell me it's okay to take a break, I'm taking a break. Laugh out loud. That's the only okay I need. Absolutely. And again, it comes back to who is our support system? Princess talked about this. Who is our village? Who supports us? Who helps us make these decisions? Because sometimes we have to get out of our own head. Of course, journaling, therapy, meditation helps to clarify what do we think versus what does society think. I'm glad for Ms. Drea, her parents are actually her support system or confidant. For some people, you can't always, rely on your parents, or it's maybe not the right time. So I'm just trying to encourage us to cultivate our own village, our own, almost like committee or support system. Okay. I'm sure she had conversations with teammates. Yes, and we saw that on camera. I saw her literally say, "You guys are going to hug her teammates. You guys are going to be great. It'll be all right." Exactly. So it's not like she withdrew and then pieced out and went to on a vacation. She was there, she was present, she offered, emotional support to her teammates. Miss Treya says, right, I'm sure they encouraged Simone to do what's best for her. With all the media surrounding her, she definitely needed a break. Absolutely. So even though Miss Simone was talking about mental health, I think it's more layered than that. It's more layered than that, okay? And again, it comes back to the fact, like, the media, of course, I'm using media right now, but sometimes the narrative, excuse me. Anyway, sometimes the media, we get one perspective or a narrative. And what I'm trying to do on this channel is to challenge the narrative and to offer competing narratives and use this to uplift ourselves. The other thing I want to just really, I have to say, is that sometimes we might feel powerless or feel obligated to do something, not knowing that every time we do something, we're making a choice. Key example. Let's say you are financially stable in your household, and your second removed cousin, who doesn't check on you, doesn't really, know about your day-to-day, what's going on in your life, only contacts you for what? Money, to ask you for money. And each and every time you give cousin Ray money, like clockwork. Now, when you are in financial troubles, can you call your cousin Ray to help you? No. More often than not, no. Of course, a lot of you are generous, spirited, successful, and we want to show love and show outpouring of support for others, right? But sometimes you have to choose yourself. If that means that $500 you're lending out means that you can't go on your vacation or you can't do X, Y, or Z, don't compromise yourself. These things are supposed to help us, mold us, but not compromise. The best way to help others is to help yourself. A lot of times that is true. Seriously. But every time we're making choices, and my larger point is that if you do not know that your inadvertent behaviors or choices, or I'm just doing this, I'm just doing that, is a choice, you're losing in some capacity. If you choose to give money, that's one thing, but feeling obligated because that's what you've always done and you feel compelled to is a different thing entirely. So just know you are making decisions every single day. And what I like is that in the media, I feel like there's more of a richness of understanding the unique challenges that these Black female athletes are facing. That athletes are facing, Black athletes are facing, Black female athletes are facing. We talked about the Sarita thing, the tennis player, I believe Osaka, if I'm not pronouncing it incorrectly. They're bringing up issues. They're bringing up real issues that, despite the confidence, despite their performance, performing for the world, performing for all of you, performing for my entertainment, performing for the dollar sign, for their Nike deal. Despite that performance, what about self-care? What about challenging the notion that they are property, that they're things? In every industry, it's kind of like that. Even for example, the NBA, I saw these themes with the movie The Last Dance. I talked about this last week. There were some challenges with Scottie Pippen and his contracts. And I remember him having to make its choice between him and the team, between him and the NBA. And there was a time that he chose himself and chose to not play because he didn't agree with the management. I could be not remembering it accurately, but there were some conflicts with management and how his contract was put together. He agreed to the contract. I believe it was a 9-year contract because he wanted to secure money for his family and just secure it. But as his star power grew, his money did not grow accordingly. So even though he was one of the best players in the league, he was one of the least paid. And from the movie, I remember they talked about in the documentary, I think it was Jerry, I believe one of the managers said that players don't make the team. It's the team, the management, everybody makes the team, something like that. Like that the NBA is more than just the players, it's everybody that makes a team successful or win. And it was very controversial about what is the role of the players versus the other members of the infrastructure. Are they just playthings at the end of the day? Are they just puppets? Strong puppets, well paid by most standards. I'm sorry, guys. I live in a good neighborhood, trust me. If you can hear that. I'm comfortable, but it really begs the question: the employee versus the employer. What is your role? And sometimes it's a business. And how are you prioritizing yourself in the context of the business or the industry, of your home community, of your work community? How are you prioritizing yourself? That is the question I want us to get at. Okay. A couple other things, the thing I want to say is that we pick and choose our battles every day. And Simone picked this battle. I'm sure there were many times she decided to not say anything, to overlook slights, to overlook things that the media said about her. And remember, how we make decisions is very influenced by our experiences. The other thing is, like, for example, two brothers can have an alcoholic parent and have a completely different outlook on alcohol. So an alcoholic parent can have two sons. Brother one would say, I'm an alcoholic because my father was an alcoholic. That's all I saw, and I learned from that. Brother two can say, I don't drink because my father's an alcoholic. What does that mean to you guys? What does that mean to you guys? What that means to me is, we are a product of our experiences, but we are still making choices. They're linked, but we can determine the outcome and craft our own destiny with our choices based upon our experiences. Same experience, growing up in a household with an alcoholic parent, but completely two different ways of living. One is still an alcoholic, one son is an alcoholic, and one does not touch alcohol. Guys, we're going deep. These are the layered conversations I just want us to have, okay? It's amazing. So again, remember, this is an Olympian with a choice. It's a female Olympian with a choice. It's a Black female Olympian with a choice. It's a superstar, one of the most decorated athletes, Olympian, making a choice with a complicated family background, with a hint of Belizean influence or culture, support of grandparents, may or may not currently have the support of her biological parents, I don't know, who's gone through sexual assault publicly, not just publicly, but along with her friends and her teammates. That changes that can just change your brain chemistry, just that alone, of course. And not feeling empowered, guys. This is a layered issue, and that is why I'm coming to you. Dr. Ivie has your back. I can't believe I just spoke about myself in the third person. But anyway, me, I've got your back. So To Be Black Native says, Grand Late Rising, Dr. Ivie, welcome. Thank you so much. House of Princess, everyone make sure you hit the like button. Absolutely. The like button is the thumbs up. It's important because it lets the algorithm know that this content is being enjoyed and that you're engaging. So absolutely share this video, like, and subscribe to this channel. Okay, so To Be Black Native, thank you for sharing. She says, I chose to not drink 40 years ago because my parents and siblings were alcoholics. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. Again, it's a personal decision, and kudos to you. And you've made that commitment for 4 decades. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, and thank you for sharing. That's really what I'm saying. She's making a choice, guys. Someone in that position, you could see someone not drinking and say, "Oh, you must be pregnant, or you must be snooty, or you can't be any fun." No. We can see the same thing and have a different point of view. And I support Simone Biles. And that is why I decided to wear this shirt today. I got this from the African American, the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. I was a bridesmaid in a wedding in Tennessee. Shout out to my friend. I won't say her name because I didn't get permission to do that. But one of my very good friends, who was one of my bridesmaids, I was her bridesmaid in her wedding. And it was in Memphis, Tennessee. And that's actually the site where, unfortunately, Martin Luther King Jr. passed away. But anyway, this shirt, I just had to buy it instantly. I saw it in the gift shop and had to buy it. Well-behaved women seldom make history. Simone is not a well-behaved woman. None of these, athletes, and nobody who's to that level of success is well-behaved, guaranteed. They can't be. Their very existence challenges the status quo. And I want us to challenge the status quo, and that society is telling us what to do, how to move, and that we have no choice and that we're helpless. No. I just want to encourage you to feel empowered. Oh. You like it too? House of Princess says, I saw that shirt there. I love it. Yeah. It was a very extremely important experience for me. I loved it. Scary though. I think that's probably, mostly what I wanted to communicate, and it seems like you guys are in agreement. I'll end with this slide. Let me just pull this up. Are you choosing you? So for those of you who are driving or, can't see, I put a picture of medals, gold, the gold medal amongst other medals for the Olympics, like on a tray. And I put also here, are you choosing you? What are you choosing? And for me, it's complicated. Of course, I have to choose me, but I am also a product of my principles, my values, and my goals. And so there are times that I'm choosing the larger mission rather than individual people. I'm choosing my commitment to, my family, my marriage, rather than individual disagreements or things that may arise, right? I'm working on some really, challenging, new, innovative research, and sometimes it's really hard. And there are times like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? And what is all of this for? Like, what is the worth? What is the value of all of these things? So the question is, are you choosing you? Yes, of course. I want to choose me, and I'm literally through this channel and through my friendship with all of you guys in this community, I'm learning how to choose me in sophisticated ways that involve support from my my family or friends, my confidants, in a way that prioritizes my sleep, rest, self-care in support of my other larger goals, being a great doctor, researcher, daughter, wife, sister, having an actual life. So I think you're right. Many of you guys have said that it's a layered discussion. It's a constant reassessment. Like maybe today this works, tomorrow it doesn't. I can do X if I pull back on Y. That's what I'm trying to get us to understand. And for Simone, I'm sure it was a difficult decision that involved not just just what she feels. 'Cause I'm telling, I know she said mental health reasons, but I'm telling you, it's not just about how she feels, like on a whim. Because I will tell you how these athletes, how they feel oftentimes is terrible, but they push through despite the pain, despite the dizziness, despite chronic conditions, health conditions, despite missing birthdays, holidays, important events in other people's lives. Despite the challenges, they're moving through anyway when they're sleep deprived, maybe hungry, I don't know. Moms and, any mom or dad, parents are doing this constantly. Despite how you feel, you are in service of a larger goal. So I know for a fact for Simone, this was just more than a simple I don't feel like it. This was more of what's best for me and the team and probably maybe the Olympics. Because had she moved on and gone beyond her comfort level, not comfort level, beyond her limitations and had consequences, we would be having a different conversation. You hear about high-powered people, immigrants committing suicide. And if they had taken that self-care couple of days, weeks, months, we would judge them. But on the other side of a suicide attempt, we're saying, oh my gosh, where were the signs? What happened? We have to think about this as a continuum, and everybody can fall off the cliff or get hurt or have these challenges. That's all I'm saying. Nobody's exempt. So we have to understand our own boundaries. And lastly, I'll end with this slide. My conclusions. What did we learn from this 2-hour-long live? Health is more than physical, but includes spiritual, mental, and emotional wellness. Just one moment. I just don't want my laptop to die here. Health is more than your weight and how skinny you are, especially for my women here. It's more than physical. It's spiritual, mental health, emotional wellness. It's not just your blood pressure and your weight and your BMI. While important for cardiovascular health, which is leading cause of death, I'm talking about Simone Biles, an Olympian athlete, having a health issue. I'm not an Olympian. Am I subject to having health issues? Absolutely. She cited, mental health. And again, we're having a more understanding, more of an understanding of this in modern medicine and in the media. So I think that's wonderful that Simone was vulnerable enough to share that with us. So that's the first point. I hope you guys are following me. That's lesson number one from this whole thing that we've talked about on my channel. Oh. Number one. Number two, our decisions are oftentimes have consequences on our own health. The things we do, our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, and decisions that make all of those things up have consequences on our own health. For Simone, it's not just the twisties and, or medical term proprioception issues. It's not just the potential broken ankle or foot. It's the pressure of having to be perfect. Gosh, I can relate to this. So much pressure. So much pressure that you can't be perfect. Nobody's perfect, but the pressure to maintain your title. Oh my gosh, it's hard. In the media, amongst other countries within your team, it's a lot of pressure to be famous in general, but then with everything she's gone through, our decisions have consequences on our own health. If you do not get that, it's just slowing us down. This is the essence of what I'm trying to communicate on this channel. How do we understand ourselves and use our decisions to better our health? One step is to understand that decisions impact our health knowingly or unknowingly, or having inadvertent consequences like side effects. We're going for one thing, we're literally going for the gold, but not also understanding the pressure, the emotional turmoil that it has. Next, it's kind of side points to the health and decisions, but that our decisions are influenced by our basically nature and nurture, by our own experiences. And this can be extremely complicated. Part of this is our childhood, potential past traumas. It's funny, when we look at the psychology of a human being, part of understanding ourselves is understanding our childhood. And much of who we are is truly determined by the age of like 5 to 7 years of age. I'm telling you. Parents may also understand this. Like I'm not a parent. I can't wait to be. But I've heard parents say, like, I remember when my child is the same in their thinking or what brightens them up. what makes my child tick, what makes my child cry, it's it's oftentimes the same. You see traits. This is beyond just personality. It's the essence of who you are and what makes you you. Part of who we are is really fortified and made, developed between the ages of birth, actually conception. It's not just you and where you, it's also everything surrounding your mom's pregnancy, the family dynamics in which you grew up in. Did you incubate literally in chaos or in a loving, nurturing, patient, peaceful environment? These drugs. You guys have heard of like you know, fetal alcohol syndrome perhaps, or when mom is exposed to certain substances or drugs, it impacts the baby. Right now, they're literally trying to understand the relationship between mom having COVID and a potential neonate, or having COVID being born. Is mom affecting baby with COVID and other diseases? These are extremely important. What I'm saying is we need to understand ourselves and understand our childhood and our family dynamic. Even if you do not talk to your family or have a complicated family history, I think it's important for us to understand who we are by understanding our past and our upbringing. Next point. Life is truly just a series of our choices and how we react to things that take place. My ultimate conclusion here is that Simone Biles is a winner. I support what she did. I may or may not have made the same choice myself. There are times where I have chosen the goal, my dream, success over myself. And there are times I've chosen myself in order to pursue the goal, my dreams, success. So sometimes I think one feeds the other, but it's having that balance and knowing when to say when and in what arena, what context, in your marriage, in your business, in your parenting your children or stepchildren. Caregiving is a huge one. Talking about burnout. So to me, Simone Biles is a winner because she understood that she has a choice. That is the whole point of this live. She is a winner in my book because she understood and felt empowered that there is a choice. Have you heard the saying that if you don't know that there's a game, if you don't know the rules of the game, you've already lost. If you don't even know you're playing a game, you've lost. We can apply that same concept to this situation with Simone Biles. The fact that she recognized that there is a choice, regardless of if she chose to participate or withdraw. I think she's a winner because she knew that there was a decision to be made. And many of us are in the dark or tired, underpaid, undervalued, not seen, not heard, underappreciated, sleep deprived, not knowing that there is a choice, that we don't necessarily have to live that way. We can make different choices. Even if you decide to continue, it's an active part of your agency of who you are. You're actively doing something rather than being a victim to your circumstance. There's a difference. If she had chosen to continue to participate, there would have been no story. But still, in my book, in my criteria, Simone Biles would still be a winner because she made a decision. But that wouldn't have been news, right? Unless she got hurt or something happened, right? We'll never know. But the point is, she's a star. She's already an Olympian. She's a gold medalist and a winner. Period. Period. So, oh my gosh, sorry. This is like a 2-hour live, guys. I had to go there. Initially, I was going to come on Thursday, but I just had to go there. I had to go there. I'm sorry. And I got tired on Thursday, and I said, you know what? No. This live requires all of me, everything, and a deep understanding and analysis. I had to really kind of meditate on it, take notes, learn more, do research. So I hope you guys found this to be helpful. And let me know, what topics you'd like to see. I'm just going to close by reading these last few comments. So Miss Drea says, great presentation, Dr. Ivie. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And join me next Saturday. Definitely. And let me know if you have any topic requests too. Avenue Junior. Great presentation, Sister Ivie. Keep up the good work. I think I know who this is. Thank you so much with the Ghana flag. For those of you who are close to me, you know why I rep Ghana. A lot of you guys probably know, but I'm Nigerian myself, but I also rep Ghana and love, I love everybody, but that West African connection, I love it. So thank you, Junior. House of the Princess. She says, I cried a lot and was sad during my pregnancy, and my son was often an emotional person, very sensitive. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Geez, pregnancy is very complicated. Part of what I'm trying to do on this channel is talk about legacy building. And by the way, women are not just their wombs. We're more than our wombs. But how do we live our legacy? I think for men, sometimes it's more clear. You carry on the name through children, or you carry on the business and make a fortune. But everyone has a role to play in creating their legacy. What is your imprint on this world? And that's one of the benefits of subscribing to this channel is we're gonna get into it by analyzing and breaking down what's going on in the news and pop culture from a health standpoint. How do we leave our own legacy and our health legacy? So, and part of that is nurturing ourselves and self-care. Do you see they're all related? That health is part of success? On the thumbnail for this video, I said health versus success. Are they one and the same? I'm always talking about how health is wellness and health is wealth. You need one to fuel the other, I think. Honestly. So, House of Princess is making a very good point that your environment, plays a role in a lot. Again, there are consequences to our decisions, or consequences to the things we do. So yeah, there's a lot of science behind this. I know in pediatric literature and psychology literature, the conditions of the mom can influence the outcome of a fetus or a baby. So, we can take this in a lot of different ways, but thank you. Thank you. Next week, I'm not sure exactly what the topic will be, but we're going to do a deep analysis. I like this. I hope you guys found it to be helpful. House of Princess says it didn't feel like 2 hours. This was good. I added very. Roni F, thank you so much and welcome to my channel. Very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm growing. I'm blossoming, guys, with your help and with your support. So I need your perspectives. I need your ideas. I need you to call in, comment, like, share, and subscribe. And definitely, my goal is to raise it to 1,000 and increase the number of people watching this channel and how much we're watching. So I am going to continue to give you everything that I have And really, this topic, I think, I don't know, it just gave me a lot of insight, and I feel a lot more passionate and have more clarity about this channel. So I really love you guys, and I want to give you my best. So please, please continue to support me. Love you, Dr. Ivie. That's what To Be Black Native says. I still need help with potty mouth inherited. Potty mouth inherited by my grandma, Queen Milton. No, you didn't. Oh, my husband is coming. I'm going to call you right back. Pray for me. I will, sweetie. You're so sweet. Miss McKinney says, very insightful. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hearts. Okay, we'll catch you next week. Like, share, and subscribe. It's me, Dr. Ivie, and I will see you next week. Okay. Bye.